All right. Welcome everybody to the club marketing information session in District 46. My name is Osama Tawi. I'm the club growth director and I'm happy to have you all with us. We are going to share some information about how you can market your club and how you can really take advantage of our current digital platform that we live in right now. And then we're going to also talk a little bit more information about the contest and more details about that. But the main focus is going to be how we can help you as clubs really market your club and get more members in there. So, Rakita, you can start sharing. Then we can go through the slides one by one.
You want to see?
All right, you can keep yourselves on mute until. All right, any participation is always welcome, but you can just limit that. If you have any questions, just keep it to the end of the presentation. We have a Q&A session at the end. All right, next slide, Rakita. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the contest details and what you need to know to participate. So the question always comes up, who is eligible to participate? And the answer always is everybody. All the clubs in District 46 can participate. If you're a corporate club or a community club, if you're an active club or inactive, meaning you are less than 8 members, you're in an inactive club, you can still participate. If you are a specialty club, bilingual, if you're having online meetings or in person, if you want to market your regular meeting, your club regular meeting, or a special meeting of an open house, you can all participate in this. All right, next slide. So when we talk about timelines, all marketing activities could be as early as January 1st of this year. So if you already started, then you can submit that participation to us. All marketing activities shouldn't go beyond May 31st of this year. That gives us a 5-month window for anybody that wants to really market their club. And the reason is, by June usually is the time where you just wrap up, and whoever was a guest in your meeting, you as a club start to convince them of joining the club if you want. And the last date to submit your submission for your club marketing activities is June 2nd. So that gives you a few days after the deadline in case you did any activities by May 31st. Winners will be announced mid-June. We are going to send out an email and we are going to put it on social media and our district website. This is going to be an exciting time for the winning club. And of course, you can market your club more than once. If you market your club, let's say you did one in January and it went well and you want to do it again, you can definitely market it more than once. But for our submission, we need just one submission, meaning if you did it twice, once in January and once in April, you have to choose one, the one that you feel was the best execution, and submit it to us. Even if you did it in more than one medium or one media, that's fine. Submit all the medias, but just for one activity that you did 1 month. Here is how the contest is going to be judged. 60% is going to be on creativity. That means the more unusual ideas that we haven't seen, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the usual ideas, the things that we're used to, but we're giving some space for everybody that really wants to go a little bit beyond and do something more creative. You're always welcome to do that, and that is going to be the biggest factor in judging your contest or your club marketing activity. 30% is going to be on the number of executions, means the more media you use, the more points you're going to get. If you just do your marketing activities on one platform, let's just say Meetup, then that's just one. But if you want to do it on Meetup, 2 social media platforms, on Google, billboards, the more submissions you have, the more points you're going to score. And last is going to be the number of guests. 10% is going to be on the number of guests that you get in your meeting that you promoted. Whether that meeting is an open house or just a regular meeting, that is totally up to the club to decide. So we are going to request a list of guests towards the end with your submission to tell us who attended, and based on that, 10% of your score is going to be towards that. Contest submission. What should you submit? First of all the evidence of any activity. If you have an activity that you did, let's say you designed a newsletter, submit that newsletter. If you sent an email, take a screenshot of that, send it to us. Pictures and screenshots are always accepted. If you have a registration list, send us that. Don't send us all the information we don't need. We respect people's privacies. Don't send us all the information, like contact information or whatnot, but we need to see those lists. If you have any email confirmations, any email blasts that you send, take a picture of that or a screenshot, send it to us. If you have any postings online, whether it's social media or Meetup or your own website, and it's still on the website, send us the link for that. These are all the things that we need as evidence to see that you actually participated in our contest. All right, the contest awards. First place gets $100. This is going to be against club expenses, whether these club expenses are for this specific contest or for something else in your club that you have been paying. For instance, if you have any expenses that you would like to get covered, just send us the invoice for that and we will cover it up to $100 for the first place, $80 for second place, and $60 for the third place. Any other participant still gets an award. Everybody who participated gets $20 for their club expenses. So if you're thinking, I wanna participate, but I have some costs that might come with it, you have up to $20, just go for it. And of course, some equivalent prizes are gonna be given to corporate clubs. If you are a corporate club and you don't accept any monetary value or any amount to your club accounts, we can definitely give equivalent prizes for the same amounts given from the Toastmasters store, and that would be arranged after the winners are announced. All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about marketing ideas and the best practices, and I am going to leave this to Rokita. Rokita, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Osama, and good evening, everyone. So you just heard Osama talk about the marketing contest and gave you a little bit of a teaser, letting you know what we might talk about tonight. So I'm just going to go into further detail just to cover the gamut a little bit about some of the ways that you can market and some of those best practices to do that. So when we think about community clubs, here are a few ways that you can get the word out about yourself. We have social media, of course. It's good with bringing back your old members in particular. Yes, people who are not members of your club and have never been members, they will see that content too. But from what we've been told, it really is effective with the people who are former members of your club. Meetup is great for bringing in new and old guests. Email is good for bringing back old guests as well. Google paid search is good for attracting guests with certain needs. So you want to keep that in your marketing arsenal. The membership contest to involve your members in attracting guests. Local newspapers and billboards are good to reach people in your community. For our friends who are in the corporate clubs, we have club sponsor support. This person who is the sponsor is usually also a member of that club. So not just the sponsor, they usually are a member of it as well. They can also help with influencing more support from management. Top management support, so the president, the vice president, anyone like that, it's good to get them on board as to first having that club within a company and then encouraging people to join it as well. Email blasts. If you're able to send emails to the company to let people know about this club, we don't ever want to assume that just because a Toastmasters Club is within a company that everyone knows about it, especially if it's a larger organization. So email blasts can help, if you are able to do so. Community billboards, anything that may be hanging up in the lunchrooms, cafeterias, anything like that, hallways. If you're able to get information up there about your club, we strongly urge you to do so. And we'll go into more information about that as well. Membership contests, just like community clubs, corporate clubs can hold these contests as well. And we'll talk more about that too. So we're going to start with social media. We hear so much about it, but how do we properly use it? What are some best practices that clubs can utilize to make it very effective for their marketing efforts? Before we get into what you want to do, the tactics, the ideas, the strategies, let's talk about why to use it in the first place. It's good for a few reasons. You can reach different audiences. First, it's good for keeping past members engaged. I know this from my own club, MI Toastmasters in Yonkers. While we have some members who they're former members now, they are still engaged with our Facebook page, which is really great to see when they like, when they comment. So it's good to keep them engaged with us. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, good for giving current members some shine, as I like to call it, or to showcase your members. So any testimonials that they may have, a picture of them from your virtual meeting, anything like that really makes people excited if they're comfortable being on social media, of course. And social media is good for letting potential members get a feel for your club. So there may be some people who they're resistant to using social media, but the thing is, besides visiting a club's website, people are going to check to see if you are on these social media channels. It does happen. I know I do that. If I go to visit a club's website, if I'm just interested in visiting their virtual meeting, I also do go to their Facebook page, or if they have an Instagram page, I will check that as well. Unlike the website, unless you have a lot of current photos on there, and clubs are not always updating your websites, a lot of clubs will try to keep their social media pages updated at least. I can visit those pages. I can get an idea of who's in the club. Are they active, first of all? Social media is going to tell you that. So that's another reason you do want to keep your pages up to date. But it lets people get a feel for the culture of your club in a way. Does this look like a fun group? Are they laughing in the photos? So that's another reason that I do urge clubs to get on social media if they are not yet. People do check your pages out because they want to see what kind of club this is from what they can tell from the photos. So let's talk about best practices for social media. First, designate the best member in your club to handle this account. It is normally the VPPR, but it may not be. If that person is not comfortable handling anything related to social media, have another officer or someone who's a member, but they're not an officer, but they're really good with keeping pages up to date. They're comfortable with social media. They're going to constantly keep your pages updated. Find out who that person is and let them just run with it. Of course, the president, the other officers, you guys will make sure that the rules are being followed. Nothing crazy is being put up there. But we trust our members anyway, don't we? So find out who the best person is. Post regularly. I see too many Facebook pages, and I'm talking about from our district, where some have not been updated since 2018. Some have not been updated since 2020. Honestly, even going a month without updating is a long time. So we really want to make sure that we are committed with posting on a regular schedule. So what's a regular schedule? Well, when I did some research, there are a lot of different answers out there depending on the social media channel. But depending on what you're using, I would say Facebook, for example, at least once a day. Instagram, they say 3 to 5 times a week. But most clubs, if they're on social media, they have Facebook, try posting at least once a day. If you can't, I would say at least a couple times a week. I know my club does not always do once a day, but a couple times a week, especially after you have a meeting, try to put a group photo up if you can, something like that. No matter what you decide to do, the frequency of it, you always want to think about the quality over the quantity. We don't want to just throw something up there. We want to throw something up there that it's connected to our club somehow. It can help promote our club. It can show our members off a little bit, all that good stuff. So think about the content that you're putting there, which leads me to my next point about varying up the content. I've also seen Facebook pages of clubs where the only thing that they are posting are, we have this meeting coming up. Register to attend our meeting, register to attend our meeting, register to attend our meeting. That's the only thing that's on their page. That's great. I'm glad that they are letting people know that they do have a meeting come up to get people to register, but you don't want to have the same thing constantly up there. Images and videos, those types of posts do very well over posts that are just text alone. The good thing is I think most clubs are getting hip to that now, because most posts that I see, they do at least have an image attached to it, which is really good. Video is just taking over in a big way right now. Facebook and Instagram, they love videos. They love reels. Reels are just shorter versions of videos, 30 seconds. They will blast those out quicker than a post that just has a photo typically. Photos and videos are also good as far as retention with helping people remember what your content is. There is research out there that says that posts that don't have any images, people are only going to retain the information at a rate of 10% a few days later, versus 65%, they will remember that information if it had an image attached to it. So it's not just about the image looking pretty, looking catchy. There is some research out there connecting it to memory as well. And we want people to remember our information, right? Our posts, because we want them to join. We want them to visit at least. As far as your post formatting, try to keep it short. I think we know that attention spans are short, so no one's really trying to read a whole story. If you can keep it to, three sentences or so, then do that. Sometimes there are exceptions, but you just don't want to make it a long diary entry. Hashtags are very important for visibility. So if you're not familiar, we would call that the tic-tac-toe symbol back in the day, and then you'd have a word after it. That's a hashtag. So using that on Facebook, using that on Instagram, especially Instagram, you need to use hashtags or your post is really not going to be shown to anybody. But on these two platforms, using hashtags with your posts are going to help them get shown to a wider audience. It'll help it get distributed more. People will also look for certain hashtags. Like if someone is interested in visiting a Toastmasters club, let's say a New York Toastmasters club, they might go on Instagram and type in New York Toastmasters or hashtag NYC Toastmasters to see what comes up. So you definitely want to make it a habit to use hashtags. Definitely on Instagram, it is a good practice on Facebook. When you post on Facebook and Instagram also, tag your other members who are following your pages, tag family members, tag your friends to the post. You never know who may be interested in visiting your club if you tag them to it. And even if your post is not so much about, hey, our next meeting is next week, maybe you put up a really good public speaking tip that could help people. Tag people to that. For your members who are following the page, guess what? Just because they're following it, they won't always get to see that post. That's just how it is. We don't ever want to assume that because someone is following our page that they will necessarily see that post. However, if you tag their name to the post, they will definitely see it then. Tagging them, we're doing that for the purpose of we want them to comment. We want them to like our posts. We want them to like our content. We want them to share our content. The more that people interact with our posts, liking and commenting, especially commenting when it comes to Facebook, Facebook will show that a little bit more. That post will show up as something that is getting high engagement, and Facebook likes that, the algorithm. So that's why we want to tag people, because we do hope that they will interact with our posts. And then lastly, never post your Zoom meeting links publicly because you don't want anyone to crash your meeting. There are people out there who have malicious intent. We don't want them to just be able to come in freely without registering first. Come in freely and do something, malicious at our meeting. So that's why you don't just want to post your Zoom meeting link. Post a registration link or have it so that people need to contact someone at your club and they will send them the registration link. That's usually the VP of membership in most clubs. So what kind of content can you post to Facebook? There's a lot, infinite. Here are some examples, though, that I put, some suggestions if you're struggling to try to figure out what to post. Of course, your upcoming meetings and events. Events meaning if you have an open house or you have a special guest speaker, you definitely want to get that out. Have a flyer or some type of image, a promotional image that you can create for that special event, again, to help that post get more engagement. Meeting recaps. What happened at your last meeting? Give a little rundown. This person won for best speaker. This member won for best evaluator. We had 3 guests. Our district director showed up. Anything like that is good. And members love to see that type of meeting recap, especially if they could not make the meeting. They can see it there on Facebook. Public speaking or virtual tips, always good to post. They're helpful. A screenshot group party pic. If you're a club, if you have members who are okay with their faces being shown on Facebook, someone in the club can snap a group photo. Why does it look like I'm freezing here? Can you guys still hear me?
We can
Can you hear me okay? Okay, it's frozen on my end. I don't know why, but as long as you can hear me, take a screenshot, a group photo, and post that on Facebook. Show who was at your meeting. Individual member screenshots. If you have members who are okay with you taking a photo of them, while they were being table topics master, you can do that. Old club photos. So a lot of our clubs in our district, they've been around a long time. You might have some photos from way back in the day. Think about posting some of those old photos. They're especially great for Throwback Thursday. Let me try to turn my video off and turn it back on, see if that will work a little bit. Okay, great. Toastmaster of the Night spotlight. And I'm going to show you some examples in the next slide of what I'm talking about. If you have someone who's going to be the Toastmaster of the evening, why not give them a little shine? Post them on your Facebook page or Instagram page. You know, Osama's going to be Toastmaster of the night. Here's some fun facts about him. He was born such and such. His favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla. His favorite color is blue. Little things like that. Hey, it's a big deal. This person is leading our meeting. Let's show them some love. Member testimonials. We like to call our testimonials toastimonials. Put some of those up. We have people who are new to the club. Maybe they've been here a month or two. They're enthusiastic. Ask them why they joined. Ask them, what did they learn so far? Get those testimonials. For our members who've been long time members, 10, 15, 20 years, why do they still remain in Toastmasters? Get their testimonials too and add them. That lets other people see that Toastmasters really is an organization that's for everybody. And the fact that people are in it for such longevity looks really good. Club history fun fact. What happened at your club on the 5th anniversary? Did you guys have a party or anything like that? Or did something historical happen on the day that your club chartered? You can post something like that. Toastmasters history fun fact. Doesn't have to be just your club. What is something from Toastmasters history? Like, I believe the other day was Ralph Smedley's birthday. So it could be something like that you could post. Toastmasters word of the day. Any word of the day you want to throw up, you can do that. It doesn't have to be the actual word of the day used at your meeting. And public speaking memes are all over the web. They are hysterical. Just look them up. You can post them right to your pages. So let's look at a few examples. I looked at some Instagram and Facebook pages from a few clubs in our district. Some clubs are doing a fantastic job with their social media, so I really want to show them some love here. On the left, you see this flyer for Harlem Toastmasters. It's one that they just put up, I think it was yesterday, and this is from their Instagram page. I follow Harlem Toastmasters on Instagram. That club is doing a bang-up job on Instagram. They are all over it. They post, I think, every single day. And I like a lot of their content. So I put them here as a good example. Instagram, they are doing phenomenal. And then you see the hashtag I put under that, NYC Toastmasters. They always use that hashtag on Instagram. Sometimes they use it on Facebook, but always on Instagram. So think about that. Think about how many people in New York, if somebody like type in NYC Toastmasters, Harlem's content is going to always come up amongst any other clubs that are using that hashtag, but they are doing a wonderful job on Instagram. In the middle, we have Bryant Park Toastmasters. This is an example of giving the Toastmaster of the evening some love. As you can see here, introducing Bill Muscop, our Toastmaster for Tuesday, January 25th. And then here's a photo of Bill. I don't know where he's speaking at, but that's him at the front here. So it's a personal photo that he gave the club to share. I didn't put the whole post because it would have been really long, but where you see more, there was a lot of other information about Bill there. It's a really good post. Check out Bryant Park Toastmasters. They have a good Facebook page. And then on this side, I have New York Toastmasters. They have another good active Facebook page here. They posted their winners of the week a few days ago. I like this image that they created. They have the Toastmasters logo, the date. It's very snazzy here. So this is just a good example. And they posted their winners here. So giving people some love. And here we have on the left, the 30th anniversary. This is actually a video, but I could not, there wasn't a way for me to download it and embed it here. So I just took a screenshot. This is for Hudson River Toastmasters. This club had their anniversary. As you can see, they posted this February 13th. This video is fantastic. I urge you to go to their page, check it out on Facebook. I don't know who created that video, but it looks amazing. Good quality.
Yes, this is Stella. It's me.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, this is Stella. That was me that created the video from Hudson River Toastmasters.
Oh, congratulations, Stella. That video is great. This club is very active on Facebook, so they have a good page overall. I commend them. In the middle, this is my club, MI Toastmasters. So this is an example of a funny meme that you might want to post. As you can see, our girl Judge Judy here, is not an answer. There are a lot of memes that you can use. Just search the web, do a Google search. And then on the right, we have Columbia University Toastmasters posting about their contest coming up. I grabbed this image today. So the contest, it probably is, let me see, February 26th. Okay. Yep, tomorrow. So if you guys want to go, tomorrow. But they are posting about their event. So that's why I just put this as an example here. Okay, let me go to the next one. So let's talk about Meetup, because there are a lot of our clubs who are using Meetup, and if not, we know you're going to get on it. We know you're going to get on it, right? Especially when we have this great offer going for people to get on it. So here are some best practices when using Meetup. You always want to have brief information about Toastmasters organization and brief information about your own club on the Meetup homepage, okay? So don't post about one or the other. Try to include a bit about both, the organization and then your club, so people know that this is a worldwide organization. It's just not something local. We're all over. And then about your club, what is it that makes your club stand out? Include a few words about what makes your club special. Is it that you have diverse members from all different backgrounds, different ages, members who are on different speaking levels? That can be a good thing to include as well, so someone won't get intimidated and think that, oh, maybe I'm the novice speaker joining this club of speaking greats. No, we're on different levels here. Post your meeting 3 weeks ahead of time. That's a good rule of thumb to follow. There are some clubs who will post it the day before or the day of. It's going to be hard to get people to attend if they're just seeing it in that short amount of time. So really build in the time frame to post that meeting. Once you do that, it's going to be easier for people to plan to attend your meeting. So that's why you want to do that. And then you see that I put here, don't set it and forget it. This is what I mean by don't set it and forget it. You have an account on Meetup. You're going to post every 2 weeks. You're going to set this up. I'm scheduling that my club is meeting every 2 weeks. You use the same copy for every meeting date for your club. Nothing stands out about the meeting then. Yes, you're on Meetup. People know that your club is meeting, but all the meeting descriptions look the same. It's better. I know it takes a little more time, but try to actually go in and schedule each meeting out. Like, instead of putting each one in with the same description. That's what I mean. Don't set it and forget it. Make that meeting stand out. Even if you don't have a theme for that meeting, the fact that you put a different description there for it, the copy looks different, it'll stand out to people more. Our brain pays attention to novelty, to newness. And if something, they all look the same, nothing stands out. Whatever you do, make the write-up fun and exciting. Again, you don't necessarily have to have a theme for that meeting, but just make it exciting. It is exciting for us to attend our Toastmasters meetings, right? We love it. The registration links, Meetup has a space for you to put the link in there. People can get the link once they register, which is good, so that your link is not just out there for everybody to hop on your meeting. They will get that link once they say they are attending your meeting. Encourage your members to join your Meetup page. My club, I actually did this in December. because we've had a lot of new members, and I realized that not a lot of them realize that we even have a meetup page. Sure, our older members do, but we have a lot of new people. So you have to keep that in mind. You have new people, you have to send these periodic reminders. It's even better when you have your own members in the club, because of course they're going to click, yes, I'm coming to this event, because they're coming to the meeting. Other people who are in that group or not members of your club, if they see that more people are going to attend, that looks better. That will encourage them to want to join the meeting as well. And then you want to comment on your event post. I'll show you what I mean by that, because I'm giving a lot of information. Here's an example of what I mean about putting the Toastmasters description in your club's description. In this example, you see the top arrow. I have what we're about. It's Toastmasters International, a brief introduction. Where did I get this introduction from? Right from Toastmasters homepage. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. It's nice and brief. I copy and pasted it. In the About Us section, I'm talking about my club. I put a quick description of who we are. We invite everyone who's looking to overcome their fear of public speaking to join us in a non-judgmental, safe environment. We have fun, because we do have fun in our meetings. There's a lot of laughing, but there's a lot of learning. So we want people to know that. We wanted people to know that our members are all on different speaking levels, because we are. We have people that are joining all the time. And then there's a handful of us who've been in Toastmasters a long time. And then we have the dates that we meet. You will include that there. Here's an example of what I meant by don't set it and forget it. Don't just schedule all your meetings for the year and leave it alone. As you can see under that sad face, this is what all of our posts used to look like a couple years ago, okay? When we had someone else managing our page. I'm glad that we have a presence on Meetup, don't get me wrong. It's good that these were scheduled, but it's even better if we can describe these meetings differently. And then on the right, under the happy face, you can see that we did start to describe the meetings differently. For January, we did have a theme, new year, new meeting, still public speaking. See how that rhymes? You guys can use that. So I put that there. And then we had our holiday house in this open house in December. So that one was a special meeting as well. But even if we are not having a special event, we are still going to be committed to putting a different title and description in for our meetings. And this is an example of commenting on your event. So don't just post the event, comment on it. Comment on it a few days before you have the event, like maybe a couple of days. Comment on it the day of to remind people, hey, you still have time to register for this meeting. Meetup does send periodic reminders to people, but the fact that I'm commenting, people will get those alerts that I'm commenting in a group. And then a few minutes before the meeting actually starts, I'll post in there, hey, you still have time to join us. We're about to start. Sometimes people would jump on last minute. It doesn't hurt to post that. So let's talk about email now, because I know that social media may not be something that our corporate clubs can really do, but we can all send email out, whether we're a community club or a corporate club. I divided this email section into two categories. So the first one here, which you see, is a touch-based email. What do I mean by that? You probably have people on your guest list, and your guest list is a gold mine. Let me say that. When we're always trying to think about how to grow our clubs, how to get new people to visit us, you probably have a guest list that goes back how many years? Like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Who has that list in your club? Ideally, the VP of membership should be keeping track of that list. The VP of membership should be entering the guests into Free Toast Host. If your club uses that for your website, there's an area you can enter the guest name and email address in so that it lives there. So that no matter who comes in as the VP of membership next year, the next year, the next year, that list is in there. and they can email them, but I'll show you screenshots of that on the next slides. Send a simple touch base email to start to your entire guest list. You may not have done that so far this year. We're still early in the year. Tell them Happy New Year. These are just some guidelines. Hey, Happy New Year. You haven't talked to them, so you can still wish them Happy New Year. Who's going to get mad at Happy New Year? Tell them what's new with your club. Do you have a special event coming up? Anything like that? Let them know. Did your club have an anniversary recently? Are you doing something that's different now, maybe that you didn't before? Let them know. Share photos in that email. Give them a couple photos. Let them know what you guys are doing. It's good for them to have a visual. Remind them of the Toastmasters benefits, okay? Whether you're in a corporate club or community club, everybody has different goals for why they join Toastmasters. There's actually a PDF that's called Toastmasters Benefits. So if you do need that, let us know and we can make sure that you get that. But you want to remind them of some of the benefits of joining the club. Invite them to your next meeting. Give them a call to action. Don't just leave them with all this great info. Actually give them something to do, which in this case is we want you to visit us at our next meeting. It's still free to visit. And have a clear contact for the club. Who can they reach out to? Ideally, again, the VP of membership will have sent this email out, so their info should be with the email. But if it's a different person for some reason, put them in there. So this is what I'm talking about when I am referring to put the guest information into Free Toast Host. I know not every club uses Free Toast Host, but I think the majority of us do in District 46. So what you would want to do is step one, you'll see this on the left side of your website, launch the admin console. Whoever is your website administrator has the ability to do this. Launch the admin console. Officers can also do this as well. They can log in through their regular member login and they can put information in. The officers can do that. You would go to the membership management. You would scroll down to that. Once you're in there, you're going to see that the guest tab is highlighted. This is where all the guests that have been entered in the system live, that have been entered over the years. So this is just a screenshot of how my clubs look on the back end. Our guests from, I don't know, it could be going back like 5 and 10 years, quite honestly, some of these people here. So I checked them off. I selected them all. And then on the right, you see that I'm going to send them a basic email. So I'm going to send them all an email in one shot. I don't have to do this individually. And then here I'll type in what is the subject I want to use, the subject line to use, and the copy that I want to send them. And then you would hit send. I don't have the send image here. I just kind of crop the image, but you would click send. And that's it. It's going to make your life so much easier to have your guests living in this one area of your website. Past guests are a gold mine for being potential new members. So we don't want to just let this list die, so to speak. Next, when we talk about email, so I talked about sending a touch base email. Let's look at sending an email newsletter, what's involved with that, because that's a special type of email. Here are some platforms that you can use to create the email, okay? You can use Canva, if some of you are familiar with that. Canva is an online platform. You can do a wealth of things with it. Newsletters, you can create social media images, you can create PowerPoint presentations in there. They don't call them PowerPoint, but presentations, business cards, all of that. Email marketing platforms. Maybe someone in your club has MailChimp, Constant Contact, or some other email platform where they can create the email and send it right from there. PowerPoint, Word, Publisher, all the Microsoft products you can use to create a newsletter. Google Slides, Google Documents. You know, with Google Slides, you can convert it to images, which is nice. Same thing with PowerPoint. You can take that slide, convert it to an image. If you want your newsletter to be a PNG or a JPEG image, anything like that, You can do that as well. So I wanted to give you some suggestions. I won't list everything here, but you can take a look. These are some examples of what you might include in your newsletter. Again, testimonials, a welcome message from the president is always good. New member showcase, if you have new members, give them some love. You might create an article. Who's a good writer in your club that could create a short article, like 3 virtual speaking mistakes to avoid? Virtual speaking is a big thing, as we know right now, but there are people who are still apprehensive about it. They don't like how they look on camera. They don't like how they sound. What are some tips you can provide? You can give them the year in review. What happened for your club last year in a snapshot? Maybe you can give them 4 or 5 of the highlights. You can include a fun game. Maybe you ask them a question that they need to answer because they have read the entire newsletter. That's a good way to ensure that somebody has read the newsletter. Maybe you ask them to find the random word, super supercilious that you have embedded it somewhere in your newsletter. The first 2 people that respond, they could win a prize, something like that. These are just a few examples. Here are 2 examples of newsletter formats. You can do a Google search, Toastmaster newsletters. You're going to find a lot of different formats on the web, so don't feel like you have to use either of these here. The one on the left is My Club, one that we created. The President's Note, we had a new member in there, Andrea, so we had her. On the right, we have Lexington Vanderbilt. It's from a few years ago, but if you still want to use this format, it's up to you. I'd probably say add another image or 2 just to break up the text a little. But you see, these are just 2 different examples of newsletters. Here's some, okay. I thought I had another slide in here breaking this up, but that's okay. Membership contests. We are, we're getting close to renewal. This is renewal season, actually. So it might be a good time to think about a membership contest for your club. This is when all hands are on deck. It's not just the VP PR, it's everybody jumping in to spread the word about your club because we want people to join our club. So it gets everyone involved in a fun way. Contest. Most people like competitions, right? Especially if they're going to win something. So membership contests are a great incentive to get everybody on board. So here are a few points about contests, best practices. Encourage all your members to spread the word. Help them help your club. I'm going to show you an example of that, what I mean by that on the next slide. But instead of just saying, tell somebody about the club, it can be more helpful sometimes if you give them copy or text that they can share, give them an image that they can share, whether it's on social media with their whole network or through email, even text messages. I mean, you can send images through text message. If you give them something that's easy to share where they don't have to think about creating it themselves or what do I say in this email, it's going to make it easier for them to tell people about your club if you can give them the tools that they need to share. Make it easy. You could say, I challenge you to invite one person next week. You could set it up as different challenges people do every week. And then the next week is, I'm going to challenge everybody to invite 2 people to this meeting, to our next meeting. Something like that. Anything that's not hard. Have clear guidelines. What are you asking them to do? What are the rules? Tell them that up front. What's the time frame for your contest? Designate an award for the winners. People like knowing that there's going to be something in this for me. I want people to join my club, but it's great if I win something too. You can give an award for the most members, maybe that somebody brought in for the contest period. That's one way to do it. Or you can give an award for someone who took action. If you simply took action and then you showed me it somehow, you forwarded me the email that you sent, great. I'm happy that you just did something because you planted a seed. You can do it that way. Reach out to your old members. Don't just think about new people or people we haven't they haven't visited our club yet. Who are those old members? We can reach out to them. So here's some examples what I did in my club. I did this in 2020 in June when it was a PR/membership contest. Here's an example of the instructions that I gave them. I said, I just want you to choose 2 ways that you can help make our club more visible. You don't have to do all 4 of these. You can either send a flyer. I sent them a celebration flyer we were having. Send this to your network, do that. And I went up the honor system with this. Just let me know you sent this out. Send the public speaking tip of the day. I actually created an image that they could send to people. I gave them copy that they could use with that image so they don't have to think of what to put. You could send me a video where you mention the club, your name. What do you love about Toastmasters? So it doesn't have to be what you love about maybe just our club, but what do you love about Toastmasters as a whole? They can share that to their own social media pages, but also when they send it to me, I can share it to our club's Facebook page. So all of that was involved. The time frame, the rewards, you see this screenshot I have in the bottom. I gave them, I think it was like a month and a half we did this. It was pretty quick that we did this. And then I just gave everybody certificates. I just acknowledged that they did it. You don't have to have anything grandiose like $30 for everybody who does such and such. Sometimes people are motivated just by being recognized. Here's an example of the flyer that I sent them, the celebration flyer here on the left. And then this is the text that I sent them. I said, when you send this out to your email list, if they actually wanted to email a tip, it was up to them. Or you could post this to your social media along with this image. As you can see, it had all of our club's information on it. And that link that's in the copy, it led them right to our club's page. So I just don't want anybody to be stumped, to be frustrated, not to participate because they don't know what to type. Not everybody knows how to put an email together really quickly or what to type on social media. So I want to make it easy for people to help our club. And then lastly, we're getting to newspapers and billboards. A few best practices: make it fun and exciting. Whatever you do, not just, hey, come join our club. What's something maybe quirky or fun that you could put in that? Think outside the box a little bit, be creative. Describe Toastmasters briefly. Again, you can use the copy that's on the Toastmasters homepage. It doesn't have to be anything long and drawn out. Have a clear date and time for when people can visit your club or visit your open house. Make sure that crucial information is there. Mention the benefits of Toastmasters. Why should I visit your club? List specific things, especially if you're a corporate club. Think about why people in your company might want to join. Do you have a lot of people who want to move up corporate ladder? And I know I have newspapers and billboards here, but I'm just trying to get you to think in general about benefits, about why someone will want to join your club. Add an exciting visual. Again, we don't want to just put copy. Have an image, something catchy that can go along with it so that people's eyes will be drawn to it. Have a clear club contact again. Who do people need to reach out to? If it's not your VP of membership, because let's face it, some people, maybe they don't check their emails like that or something else is going on. It could be a family issue that they're dealing with right now. So they're kind of checked out a little bit. Is there someone else that people should contact in your club? We have titles, the officers have titles, but that doesn't mean that someone else in your club who's just a regular member, a lay member, that doesn't mean that they can't help with things. Just because you don't have a title doesn't mean you can't be a leader, in other words. And I will let Osama speak to this.
All right, thank you, Rakita. The last point is something we call the Google paid search or Google Ads. You have the opportunity for anybody that goes and searches for, let's say, public speaking, for you to really capture those and have your landing page as an advertised link, where when somebody searches it, it comes on the top of the page. That really helps. And so you can choose the words that you want to use. You can choose the area, the geographical area. You can even limit it to a certain budget. Let's say I just want to do $10 for this, and then you get charged by click. But you can also limit every day. I want to do just $2 every day or something like that to this very specific area. I only want to advertise to the Bronx, or to a 10-mile radius around this zip code. Whatever you want, you can definitely do that. And but you have to have an attractive landing page. So whenever somebody finds you through the search, you have something really attractive so that they can say, oh yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And then Google Ads also sends you some data that you can analyze and look through it. It tells you how many people clicked and came to your page. How much time did they spend on your page? Did they go to another page after that, or did they just close it? All that information can come to more advantage for your own club. So have a clear club contact so that they know how to contact you if they're interested. I know we're going out of time, but I think this is the last slide, and we're going to open this for a Q&A for anybody that has any questions.